Here is a man who has no choice but to give up. And here is another man who must never give up. What happened between these two? Have you ever had a moment in life where you thought, I can never do this? But somehow, things worked out in the end? Today's main character, Moses, had a similar experience. Let's listen to the incredible story of the Exodus, which seemed impossible to achieve. A long time ago, the Israelites lived in Egypt. But one day, Pharaoh began to worry about their increasing numbers. He feared they might rebel against Egypt. So Pharaoh commanded that the Israelites be made into slaves. Yet, their numbers continued to grow. So he issued a terrifying order.
From now on, every newborn Hebrew boy must be thrown into the Nile.
However, one Israelite woman gave birth to a baby boy and hid him for 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she placed him in a basket and let it float down the Nile. What would become of this child? Pharaoh's daughter discovered the basket floating down the river, and she decided to raise the child as her own. This child was Moses. Moses grew up as an Egyptian prince, but he learned that he was actually an Israelite. After a great incident, he left Egypt at the age of 40 and fled to Midian. One day, while living in the wilderness, Moses saw something astonishing. A bush was on fire, yet it was not burning up. At that moment, Moses heard the voice of God.
Go to Egypt and lead my people, the Israelites, out. I will surely be with you.
Though he thought it was impossible, Moses obeyed. He went to Egypt and stood before Pharaoh. Moses declared,
Pharaoh, let the Israelites go. This is the word of God.
But Pharaoh refused to listen. Instead, he made the Israelites labor even harder. Then, the 10 plagues struck Egypt. First, the Nile River turned to blood. There was no drinkable water, and the fish died. Yet Pharaoh's heart remained unchanged. Second, frogs covered all of Egypt. They were everywhere inside and outside houses. Pharaoh promised to let the Israelites go if the frogs disappeared. But once they were gone, he changed his mind. Third, lice spread everywhere. People scratched their itchy skin in agony. But nothing changed. Fourth, swarms of flies filled the air. Yet Pharaoh still refused to yield. Fifth, a plague struck and killed livestock. Sixth, painful boils broke out on people's skin. They scratched their skin and bled in pain. Seventh, huge hail mixed with fire rained from the sky. Crops and buildings were destroyed. Eighth, locusts covered the land. They devoured all the crops. Ninth, darkness covered Egypt for 3 days. The sun was gone. And 10th, the firstborn sons of every Egyptian household died. But the Israelites were spared because they put lamb's blood on their doorposts. Egypt suffered 10 plagues. Finally, the stubborn Pharaoh spoke.
Enough, leave Egypt.
The Israelites were freed from their long slavery. But Pharaoh still couldn't let go of something. And he gave another order. Did you enjoy today's story? Next time, we'll continue with part 2, Can Humans Defy God? Yang Sengel Jamius G. Bozias Damyan, Gudog, Gua, Joheo, Butaj.